scoring the best tries in the second half.
Yeah, it was a super game of rugby, and I think Wakefield, very impressive by Wakefield. To keep their nerve when they were, as Scoot said, we felt feared the worst, didn't we, for them when it went 12-0 with some two lovely tries in the first half.
And the ease that they scored the second one with. The first one was really good play, like you were mentioning before, and a bit off the cuff, a bit improvised. But the second one was very reminiscent of the first Warrington try last week, cutting them up right next to the ruck with a fast player.
Yeah, I mean, and they did very well, didn't they? I mean, it was a lovely bit of footwork, nice break, kept the nerve, and then just speed away to score the try. It looked like Warrington were in complete control, but credit to Wakefield, they held the nerve and worked their way back into the game.
It's the thing that Powell's been saying in the post-match stuff that we've been able to read over the last few days as well, isn't it? That as soon as there was any adversity thrown at this Warrington side, they seemed to crumple. They didn't seem to back each other up or play for each other. And Wakefield took absolute advantage of that. Yeah,
I think that's right. There wasn't enough of a team response from Warrington to Wakefield's resistance to being put away. And in the end it told that Wakefield deserved to win because of the way in which they responded to their own adversity early on.
And, for two great Warrington tries in the first half, see two great Wakefield tries in the second half.
Yeah,
Reece Lynn scored a great try showing his great pace after some really good build-up work before he made that space, actually. But that was a moment that he'll be pleased with because I think he's been quite patchy this year. But Max Jowett's involvement in the Corey Hall try that won the game, that was brilliant stuff. First the break, then the strength to stay up, breaking a couple of tackles, then the vision and skill to get that long pass out to the left that gave Hall not a straightforward finish. He still had to have a bit of a dive and stuff, but great, absolutely fantastic play.
I think Jowett is terrific at the moment. I mean, I think as an all-round fullback, not just a speed merchant, but great hands, great footwork. He's very strong. His defence is good. I think he's one of the most impressive fullbacks in Super League at the moment, Jowett, and I very much enjoy watching him play. He's doing really well.
Yeah, definitely. And Mason Leno's the other person who's doing really well as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
man of the match 2 weeks in a row, I think, against away at Wire, masterminding his team's victories. Is really at the top of his game. And the other note I wanted to mention actually as well on this one is it's really nice for young Murphy on the wing to get a score. I think after his nightmare debut against Leeds, that horror of all the errors he made in the first half against Leeds in that game, against one of the worst sides in the competition, but to bounce back against this Warrington side in his cup debut, much better than his league debut, so really pleased for him as well.
Yeah. Oh, credit to Wakefield again. Now the interesting question for them will be, can they convert that cup work now and those two really great wins that they've had away at Warrington into some consistent league form?
Yeah.
Because if they can have a good season, Wakefield.
Yep. Let's do the news stories then. Do you want to take us through the two disciplinary charges?
Yeah, so out of this game, there were two disciplinary charges for Warrington. Mike Cooper was with a grade A high tackle. It was deemed careless. Got a not-match penalty notice, and Darryl Clark, a grade A tripping, and he got a not-match penalty notice as well.
Now, I want to touch on that one a little bit because people might notice that Darryl Clark and who did we talk about? Brad Dwyer, both got grade A tripping offences.
Yeah.
But Brad Dwyer got a 1-match penalty notice, whereas Darrell Clarke got a no-match penalty notice. And I've seen people thinking that shows some sort of sense of bias or corruption or something. But those people are fucking stupid. Because, as we've said loads of times...
How many times?
And people want to hate on Paul Cullen for lots of reasons about who they think he is and what he did as a player and etc. etc. If you put that to aside for 1 second when he's on TV and actually listen to what he's saying, you wouldn't ever then think there's this bias or corruption with these things. So, what has happened here, okay, is Brad Dwyer and Darrell Clarke have been assessed by the match review panel to have committed exactly the same kind of offence. A grade A tripping charge. Both of them have been charged with exactly the same offence. The only reason why one of them's got a 1-match ban, which is the top end of the range of possible bans for a grade A charge, and the other one got a no-match penalty notice, which is the bottom end of the possible ban range for a grade A charge, is because one of them has what is defined as a relevant record, and the other one doesn't. There is a little bit of weirdness around this relevant record, but what the relevant record is it's not having had the same offence before. Okay, it's if you've had the same offence but at grade C or above within the last 12 months, within the last 24 months, then you will get the maximum of it. So if Darrell Clarke had a grade C tripping charge at some point in the last 2 years, he then would have got 1 game for his grade A tripping charge. The other aspect of relevant record is if you have 2 or more disciplinary charges upheld against you in the last 24 months, one of which has to be within the last 12 months. So Brad Dwyer's already had a ban this year, and he had a ban last year. So that's 2 charges within 24 months, one of them being in the last 12 months. That's why he's considered to have a relevant record and got the 1-match ban, whereas Darrell Clarke actually himself only has 1 disciplinary charge within the last 2 years, and that was a grade B tripping charge. So even though he's actually been done for tripping before, he doesn't get a ban. That's where I think there's a bit of a weirdness there, but that's how the rules are. They are applied consistently and fairly, so people need to get that out of their head.
Yeah, there you go. Let's hope we don't have to talk through that again this season.
I'm thinking of writing something that I can just then click a link to every time I see a Facebook or Twitter post about it. Yeah. So, in other news, Warrington fullback Stephen Ratchford, we mentioned, was replaced by Thewlis in this game. He's been sidelined for up for 4 weeks for their injury picked up last week. Daryl Powell has confirmed. So that is a blow, an experienced player for them out. And here's one which I don't know if you picked up when you watched the highlights of this game, but EFC78JU definitely picked up. He said he wanted to talk about Wire being interested in Kalepi Tanganoa. So what EFC said is, Kalepi Tanganoa has been targeted by Warrington Wolves, according to Premier Sports commentator Mark Wilson, in the lead up to Wakefield's 3rd try during the Cup fixture. Tanganoa signed a new deal at Bellevue in 2020 and said at the time, "I'm really happy to be here for years to come," is what EFC's pointed out. But I think what he said is Warrington, I think what Mark Wilson said is Warrington had shown some interest in the past in Kalepi Tanganoa, possibly before he signed that new deal, I don't know. But certainly he would be a good positive addition to their pack based on the performances we've seen from Tanganoa versus the Warrington forwards in the last 2 weeks, David.
Yeah, I didn't pick that up in the commentary, Mark. Probably because I had it on mute when I was watching. But
there you go. Then you're definitely not going to hear it.
No. Tangano's a good player though.
Yeah, definitely. Last game then, and this was another entertaining game. Barrow versus Huddersfield played out in front of 3,135. Marcus Griffiths was the referee. It was 18-6 to the Giants at half-time, and they did win 30 points to 16, but that wasn't without a bit of a scare along the way, as the first fan view hints at.
Yeah, great game for the neutral, Mark W says. Awful game for my blood pressure. Our effort was there, but we played like a side with a disrupted spine and looked a bit desperate towards the end with some cheap errors. But take nothing away from Barrow, an outstanding effort from them. My team of the weekend.
Pop the Vikings said Barrow can hold their heads high in a tough game where the Super League team only finished off the fight with a determined Barrow side in the last few minutes. And EFC78JU said, it was an entertaining game to watch on a Sunday afternoon for a Super League team playing at a Championship side. Must give credit to Barrow on trying to fight back, but the Giants just struck back not long afterwards. They just want to make history at Barrow Raiders, which hopefully they must do, but it was Huddersfield on top in the game. Best of luck in the Championship season, Raiders. Some enjoyable stuff from this, and Barrow are the entertainers of the Championship, it feels like this year, doesn't it, with Maludi and Ritson in particular on that right edge, and they showed again great play, making a break from a scrum play, an interception play going all the way up the field, involved in their highlights package from this game. So they are fun to watch, aren't they, Barrow?
Yeah, I think they are, and certainly it's quite interesting, this game, because they didn't. Huddersfield got on top quite early, and you'd have thought at that stage, rather like Hull at Sheffield, since they got on top early on, that they might just run away with it. But no, Barrow stuck in with this, and actually, may have even been the better side in the second half. And certainly gave Huddersfield a bit of a fright, really, in that second half. Now, you wouldn't expect that, because you'd have thought Barrow would have run out of steam, and once Huddersfield got properly on top, they would have run away with it, but they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, Sebe Kahifa was the only forward for.
What a try that was, by the way, by Kahifa. It was like a bloody bowling ball going through. It was very good, solo effort.
And it felt like he was the only forward for Huddersfield that really showed dominance over what actually was a bit of an underpowered Barrow pack. They've had a couple of guys in on loan from Salford, haven't they, that weren't in there for this game. That have been playing in there in their middles anyway. And so the way they stuck to it, with second rowers playing in the middles as for a large portion of the games as well, I think you've got to say great credit to Barrow for everything they did in the game.
Very much. So that's two very good games up in Cumbria this weekend, and two very well attended games up in Cumbria this weekend.
It felt like a good atmosphere for both of them, didn't it, as well?
Very much so. So Cumbria can hold its head up high when it comes to Challenge Cup Rugby League, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think every game that Cumbrian sides get drawn, they should be at home in the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, let's do that.
A couple of news stories to cover on this one. A couple of contract pieces of news out of the Giants. Do you want to pick up the first of them?
Yeah, halfback Oliver Russell has signed a new 2-year contract with Huddersfield to expire at the end of the 2024 season. The 23-year-old left the Wigan setup to join the Giants Academy, and also made his first team debut in 2018.
And Huddersfield have announced hooker George Roby has signed a new deal, keeping at the club to the end of 2023. Roby joined from Warrington ahead of the 2020 season and has been playing in the academy and the reserves at the Giants. Ollie Russell's having a really strong season so far, isn't he? It's much deserved getting a new contract there. I think they're probably surprised about how much game time he's getting, but he's earned it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Huddersfield continue to be one of the best sides in Super League this year at the moment. So it's not just that he's getting a lot of game time, he's getting a lot of game time in a very good team.
Yep, for sure. Round 7 draw was made then. Weirdly, it was made during half-time of the 5th game of the round, or the 6th game, was it? When it could have been made at half-time of the last game, surely, and that would have made more sense. But anyway, the order of the games and the television coverage has been confirmed. So Friday the 8th of April, so in just a couple of weeks' time, 7:45 p.m. kickoff for Hull KR versus Castleford Tigers live on Premier Sports. Then